In this video, I'm going to explain anti-gravity's usage limits and how you can avoid hitting them. So last week I did a video comparing anti-gravity to Claude code, and the #1 complaint in the comments was that anti-gravity's rate limits are really tight. One guy in particular saying that he pays however much a month for the subscription, but he's only actually able to use anti-gravity like 4 days out of that month because he's always locked out. Fucking infuriating, and I can absolutely relate. Thing to understand is that Google doesn't calculate usage on tokens like you would think they do. Honestly, I thought they did as well until I dug into this. It's actually counted on computing power, like how much effort the LLM has to put into it, and they've developed their own algorithm or framework or whatever to calculate exactly what one usage unit actually means. So very first thing, I'm going to explain exactly how usage is calculated, and then we're going to talk ways you can stretch it out. Because honestly, some of the ways I used to try and stretch rate limits actually triggered my lockout almost immediately. So let's dig into it. First thing right off the top is that these IDEs do not work the same way as ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini in the browser. Okay, those charge you based on tokens, so you'd be forgiven if you assumed that these work the same way, but they absolutely do not. The only similarity is that you're charged heavier for bigger models. Just wanted to preface with that. Everything else will make way more sense as we keep moving forward. Just keep that in mind. How they actually calculate usage is based on work done is what they call it. So tab completions don't cost anything. Simple back and forth chat like barely moves the needle. But when you start to ask agents to plan out architecture or do like multi-file edits, and especially when they have to like scan your repo, that's where things start to spiral out of control really fast. So the heaviest tasks, the ones at the top of the pile here, are terminal loops and browser automations. That's where you drain your usage like almost immediately. Google doesn't make any of this obvious, which is why a lot of you folks feel like you're being rate limited out of thin air. But even after researching this, I know there's more to it than even what I'm going to explain today, but this is the hard concrete information I could confirm from Google. Okay, so as of right now, what I can confirm is anti-gravity gives you 250 usage units every 5 hours per provider and 2,800 usage units for the week. Okay, so each unit is replenished after 5 hours on a rolling scale. So where people are starting to get confused is that you're always pulling from both of these at the same time. Even waiting the 5 hours might not necessarily reset you because your 7-day usage is locked in for each week. As far as usage, the work done is calculated exactly the same way no matter what. There are, however, multipliers for which model you're using and if you're in fast or planning mode, except I couldn't find the exact multipliers for the modes. I only found them based on the model. So if you have that information, please share it with me because I couldn't find it. Doesn't mean it's not out there, but I will update the video and I'll make sure this is. With Sonnet as your baseline, Google estimates you're looking at 40 to 80 hours of active compute per week on the Pro subscription, and that's enough to use it week to week consistently. Gemini is about 1.5 times multiplier to your usage units. Okay, so they're actually really generous with the Gemini pool. Gemini Flash is about 10 times less tokens than Sonnet. So Gemini is definitely going to stretch out the usage, but depending on your use case, you're probably already aware that Anthropic does tend to be a little more intuitive and get you there a little faster than some of the Gemini models right now. Anyway, where people are really having trouble is because they're using Opus for everything, okay? And the internet's not helping because they keep saying that Opus is the best model and the only one you should be using, but it burns credits 8 times faster than Sonnet, okay? So you only get about 3 hours of agentic work to trigger your full 7-day lockout. And that's where people get really frustrated because they throw Opus to do like a browser automation or do simple like boilerplate sort of things, and then they're locked out in like 40 minutes. So they'll curse the platform and they'll be like, oh, this sucks, but really they're spending 800 times more credits than Gemini Flash that could have done the job for them. To reiterate, the planning and fast modes do affect your usage as well. I couldn't find the exact numbers, but check your defaults because fast is these guys here. Fast doesn't cost as much. Just to get a feel for this, I had Claude help me put together an asset with the information I could find to give you like a rough sort of calculator to see how things work. Tab completions don't really cost much, how long you're running it, which model, all sorts of stuff. So I'll leave a link to this in the description and you can play around with this too. But outside of this, quotas notwithstanding, there are 2 ways you can actually trigger your 7-day lockout immediately without even touching your quota. First being a terminal loop where your agent has always run permissions. It'll burn through your entire week's tokens in one prompt if it's doing a debug or something like that. Don't do that. And the second is if you're automating prompts into Antigravity from a third-party tool, so N8N or whatever, the platform detects and hard locks you immediately. You can't chain into Antigravity from outside tools. Google doesn't like that. Okie dokes. So now the solutions. What do we do to actually avoid hitting these rate limits? The first and most obvious is make sure you're matching the model to the task. task, okay? Opus for hard reasoning only, and Sonnet 4.6 in fast mode should be like your good baseline for consistent usage, okay? If you're using Opus for standard boilerplate, you're making a mistake. The second thing is that larger context still requires more compute. Even though it's not token based, the size of what you're feeding your agent still scales your usage, okay? So you don't need your agent looking through your entire 60 file code base just to fix one API endpoint, okay? You can pin what you need, use the @ command, and then pinpoint the file, and you don't need to look at anything else, all right? So that'll save you some usage as well. In that same sort of vein, make sure that you've got somewhere that your agents can meet and kind of get a comprehensive understanding of what you're doing. I call it the session state. So before I switch tools or end a session, I have the agent write a compact like handoff, and we keep that up to date, where we're at, what's done, what's next, any of the decisions that we make, and that file seeds the next session. That way you're not starting over, you're not dragging in the whole conversation history, and you're not bloating the agent with context. You just pick up where you left off, and you can pass this off between different agents, different models, different whatever. Which is the next point, actually. We want to make sure that we're rotating models. So if Claude's locked, switch to Gemini. Gemini Flash is dirt cheap inside Antigravity, right? It costs like 1/10 of what Sonnet does, 800 times less than Opus, and it's still really good at executing tasks, right? So if both pools are dry, then you can go outside to like Arena AI or GenSpark, or you can even bring in some tools in the terminal like Codex or Gemini CLI or whatever, and then you can have this read the session state documents to get caught up, execute some tasks, and this will stretch your usage that way as well. Last one I'll talk about today that's been really big for me too is using external tools to plan before I even get into Antigravity. A lot of usage and computational power can be burned when you're making a plan, reasoning through the approach, like going back and forth, but you still want the thinking models to be doing that because they're the best at understanding what your goals are, essentially. So you can do that somewhere else. Like GenSpark, like I said, my go-to is arena.ai because you can pick which model you want to deal with directly. Opus 4.6 thinking, you can tell it your goal, it can get the hit list, and then you can bring that into Antigravity. Honestly, really smart to have a super heavy model come up with all of the thinking and the to-do list essentially outside of your Antigravity quota, then just bring that in, and you could even have Flash just knock off the to-dos because it's great at executing tasks, not so good at thinking about what to do next. Like if you know exactly what you're building before you open your IDE and know exactly how you're gonna get there, rate limiting almost stops being a problem. So I'll leave this up on the screen for another second. Your takeaways here are Sonnet in fast mode are kind of like your daily drivers. That'll get you your 40 hours a week. Gemini Flash uses 800 times less usage than Claude Opus. So something to think about. All this stuff will be left in the description as well for your viewing pleasure. All right, so that's what I got for you. I'm gonna do the same sort of breakdown with Claude Code. If you wanna see my comparison video, you can click that here. Click the link in the description to learn how to use these tools for yourself, and we will see you in the next one.